That's Cerys Matthews. That's a lovely track, isn't it? From Cock a Hoop.
Her new
album, which veers in a slightly different direction. We have with us, ladies and gentlemen, one of the oldest men still alive in England.
We said break it at the end.
What?
Break the news at the end.
Here
we go.
Here
we go.
He's like, he's not, of course he isn't.
He was so nice when I came in. Did you say, you're looking so well?
Yeah.
Well, no, you do look
the
fantastic.
Oldest.
And if we were to announce you the oldest man, Fluff Freeman at home, he's panicking now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he would. He is.
On?
He is. You're absolutely right.
Bruce, you look great. You've just come back from a holiday, or you just headed?
No, we came back from Portugal. We always go there for 4 months during the winter, and we came back about 2 months ago.
That must be lovely, though, wintering in Portugal.
Oh, well, I've been doing it for many, many years now. You know, it's my wife's island. Well, not her island. You know.
That sounds great.
She leases it to me and allows me on the beach now and again. But the golf courses there are great. The food is wonderful. They're lovely people. They're very warm, very family orientated, and I enjoy it.
And you go as a family?
Yeah, yes, JJ comes out there for Christmas.
Because how old is he now?
He is 16 now. He is 6'4".
Wow.
He is so much bigger than me, size 12 shoes.
Wow.
And he is definitely going to be the hunk I always wanted to be.
But that's great, and at 16, you've got a big young man there.
Yes.
That's what you kind of want.
And he plays bass guitar, very good on the bass guitar.
Everything's going on there. Yeah. He's getting to the age, of course, where he's not going to want to hang out with mum and dad much longer, of course.
Well, that could happen. He's a very home person at the moment, and has been. I mean, a lot of kids, by the time they're 16, are here, there and everywhere, but he's not. He's still very, very home, sort of a home bird.
And he's in a band. We're going to play a track.
No, that's my grandson.
Oh, wow, this is the grandson.
My grandson, Luke Purdy, who has had this group. They've had it since about 1984. So they're not. 1994, not 18.
When you get to Bruce's age, decades run together. When he first came in, he said, they formed in 32. I said, I don't think that's possible. Why couldn't
we rehearse? I'd be so much better with the rehearsal. Anyway, for 7 years, my grandson has had this group. They're not new. I mean, they've worked very, very hard, but getting a break is so difficult.
Well, we're going to play a track because
that's very lovely of you, and I know he'll be thrilled.
Well, when they said, but Bruce has got to sing, we'll play it anyway. And I put it on, and we've only listened to the beginning of it. It sounds great.
Well, I'm glad. That's why I wanted you to listen first, see what you thought.
Are they signed up?
I went to... No, they're not. Right, okay. So we could be the managers.
Well, why don't you and I start a record label?
Why not? Why not? John, stranger things about... I've been to see them work at the King's Head in Fulham.
Now, I'd like to have been there the night you snuck into the back of the King's Head.
Yes, well, they're fine. And also went to the Rock Cafe to see them last year.
Were you tempted to join the mosh pit at the front, Bruce?
No, not really. But I must tell you, all my family are all gathered round me, trying to shield me. And I've got this hat on and glasses and everything. And I'm sitting there in the middle of that. But this one guy did recognise me. This guy was about 5 foot wide. Right. He was built like a brick shelter. He really was. And he came straight up to me afterwards and he said, "Oh, Mr. Forsyth," he said, I didn't know you were into heavy metal. I said, "Well, I'm more sort of light aluminium, really." And sort of snuck out as well as I could.
Fabulous.
But I've been to see them and they are a great group. I mean, hearing them is one thing as well, but their stage presentation is great.
Well, it's great that you want to help them out as well.
I'm so kind of you sort of playing their track.
Well,
but as you said, they're good.
Well,
really
now
good.
we've talked about it. We should play it now.
Okay.
What's the name of the band again?
They're called The Climb. Is it?
The Climb.
They're called The Climb.
Yeah.
CLIMB. The Climb in that, not as in sunnier climbs.
No.
It says here they began in 1994 from the same school. There's so many bands form at school, of course.
Yes.
And they've played a lot of gigs from something. They've supported the Black Crows, various other people. So and they're not signed yet. All right. Well, if you're listening out there and you're a record company person or you like the sound of this, contact us on the Radio 2 website and talk to me and Bruce about it.
Exactly.
We're on the old traditional 50%.
Why not? At least. At least.
Like the old Tin Pan Alley days.
You're right.
Okay, this is...
Now I'm a song plugger.
Exactly.
Over 50 years in the business.
Who'd have thought in your advanced years, he's 207 years old, ladies and gentlemen, and he's now working as a record promoter. Still got his finger on the pulse, though.
Yes, sir.
This is a Wake Up Call by The Climb. There's some good rock in there from The Climb. That's a good band. I really hope they get signed.
He does sound a bit like me, didn't you?
Don't say that, Bruce. You're damning him there.
Oh, sorry.
Give him a chance, will you? Just let him out the starter's gate. Pretend you didn't hear that last bit. He does not sound.
But good luck, Lukey, and The Climb.
It sounds great. Well, let's hope someone gets hold of us and we'll put them in touch with you.
I'm going to leave that copy there for you. Anytime you've got a little fill-in, lovely.
We'll slip one in, OK. I don't know how much we can play unsigned stuff. But, we can work on it.
Well, of course. Bruce, but I'll leave it there.
Bruce Forsyth, ladies and gentlemen, will also be performing with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra at the Swan Theatre in High Wycombe next Sunday. And then at the Anvil Theatre in Basingstoke on the 15th of June. So what do you do when you're with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra? What do you actually do on stage?
Well, it all happened like this. Last November, Dame Cleo Lane and John Dankworth had this sort of silver jubilee, and the big band that was on the stage was the National Youth Jazz Orchestra. I'd never played with, never met them before or anything, and I did a piano number and a bit of fooling around with the orchestra and my usual bit of nonsense out there. And I went along to the rehearsal, played this thing, and they all applauded at the end of it. And a lot of them came up to me and said, "We didn't know you could play the piano, Mr. Forsyth." I said, "Well, yeah, I've been playing it for all my life practically." And I enjoyed working with them so much, and I thought, what a wonderful because they really are. They're all first-class musicians.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
the
course,
sound, the big band sound, which is what I grew up with.
And you have performed on stage with large orchestras.
Oh,
before,
yes. I do
the
Palladium one-man show. I had the big band. But this is going even a stage further. But the fact that they're so young and they love all the stuff that I grew up with.
That's nice, yeah.
I thought there's a sort of link there.
And so you're doing standards, they were doing kind of, which sort of music? What tracks?
Yeah, but it's not just a jazz. I don't want people to think it's a big jazz festival or something like that. No, it's a comedy show. I'm doing bits from my one-man show.
When is this?
Other stuff. And I'm doing one at the Stables, which is Wavendon, which is a charity night for Cleo and Johnny. I'm doing that on the 5th of June.
I refuse to go to charity evenings.
Oh, well, even for a freebie?
Well, it's free.
Even for a freebie,
that's the problem with charity. You have to wind up paying. So I'm used to getting in for nothing, and then you get these charities, and I've got to dip my end.
But that's right. They invited me to do a night there, so when I said yes, I'll go along, they said, "Oh, well, we'll see."
I am coming.
All right.
Because I want to see. Because I don't know what it is now. I used to have on vinyl. I used to have your one-man show at the Palladium.
Oh, really?
I used to love. What was it called? It was called Me and My Piano, or Alone with the Piano, or something.
No, it was just the one-man show. I don't think we had
the album I had. It was called something like that.
Oh, really?
Maybe it was scrawled on by a graffiti artist, but it had something written on the cover like that. I remember clearly. And I always wanted to get the chance to see you live. Never have done. So I'm going to come to that. Andy, you free? You fancy it?
I'd like to see it, yeah.
Well, let's go.
You've missed Wavendon.
Okay.
There's always the Swan.
Wavendon doesn't even sound like a real
Swan.
place.
Can I tell everybody, the Swan at High Wycombe is not a pub.
No.
I'm not a pub entertainer.
It does sound like you've gone a bit, you were trying to climb back to the top there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want that to get around. It's a very nice, lovely
Swan.
theatre.
It's a Swan Theatre in High Wycombe. But
right.
presumably the pub's
whatever one
nearby.
you'd like to come to, please be my guest.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right.
Ice cream in the interval.
Okay.
The
Even
lot.
better. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's lovely.
And how long do you do on stage?
It'll be about a 2-hour show.
Well, that's quite long.
Well, should I?
After the
I'll
ice cream,
cut it down.
We slope off after the ice cream. Well, I'm getting old. You know what that's like. After a couple of...
If you want to get home to bed...
Well, I've had an hour in, frankly.
I would announce it at the start of the show that you won't be staying for the second half.
But it's in no way a reflection on the level of material or performance on the stage. It's merely to do with the personal curfew.
You may be a bag of nerves now.
I do like to get home early, don't you?
Yes. I've been like that for years.
And as the nights approach, you think, I'm looking forward. On the night, you always think, I'll stay in.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'll watch ER.
All right, so you're apologising now, yes.
Well, I'll apologise in advance for the inevitable phone call. I'm looking forward to that. That would be great. And it's so, you're nice you're doing it for Johnny Dankworth and Cleo Lane's charity. What is that charity? What do they do with that?
Well, it's a charity that's all linked with the Stables, which is the places, which is where Johnny and they live there, not in the Stables, but they live there in this lovely sort of old house by the side of it. But they have many charities locally that they support.
So it all filters out to all different groups.
Exactly.
That's, as I said, to give you those dates again, High Wycombe is next Sunday and at the Anvil Theatre in Basingstoke on the 15th of June. I don't know whether...
And the 5th of June, the Stables, Wavendon.
Wavendon doesn't really sound like a real place to me.
No, you should enjoy saying Wavendon.
Well, it's easy with
your...
I feel like it's drawing attention to me, so thanks for that.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about that. I did take your name in vain the other day.
No, you see, I'm not sure about this.
No, I did that lunchtime show show, The Loose Women.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
heard of it?
Yeah.
And I was on it. I had a lot of fun with them. It was they gave me the whole show, actually.
Oh,
it was a lot of fun. And in it, the lady who introduced me, her name is Kay Adams,
right.
and she's Scottish. And she said, "Now we welcome Bruce Forsyth." I said, "Oh, please say my name again. That's why I love going to Scotland, because they call me Bruce Forsyth." I said, "You go on the Jonathan Ross show, I'm Bruce Forsyth."
Does sound like I've got a gobstopper in my mouth, doesn't it?
Yes, so in case anybody tells you about that, I'm telling you face to face.
Your name is a minefield for me.
It is.
But it's a minefield I enter willingly whenever possible.
Yeah,
because
but Wavington is easy, isn't it?
But Wavington does sound like I'm taking the mick, doesn't it? Bruce was once known as the Mighty Atom.
Yeah.
What a fantastic stage name to have, the Mighty Atom.
Well, at the time, you see, they were trying to make something of the atom, and from that came the atom bomb. So it was in the news practically every month. There was the atom is being done, the atom, and I thought, and my family thought, what a good title, the Mighty Atom.
Yeah, because but were you small though? I mean, was that the concept? I mean, you were young, obviously.
I was always. Well, you see, I was small, I suppose, up until the age of 14, 15, then I started to... Probably 15, I started to grow taller, but not as tall as my son now. I mean,
He's now, we've established...
6 foot.
Well, he was 6 foot when you left this morning. He's probably about 7 or 8 foot when you get back.
He could be.
I get the feeling he's like an Alice in Wonderland situation there. He's found something that said "eat me," and now he's just not... He won't stop growing.
No, he's all right. He's all right.
That must have been great, though. Performing... Being on stage in that kind of golden age of, well, in America it was vaudeville. Over here, I guess it was...
It was variety.
It was variety.
But, I mean, my first show, the first show I went in was a complete disaster. I mean, they took no money at all, and they dealt the money out that they did take according to your billing. Right. And I was right, because although it's a long title, Boy Bruce, the Mighty... I was called Boy Bruce, the Mighty Atom.
Fantastic.
OK, you know what I got? 13 and 4pence for my week's work. That was about 65p in this money. I had to wire home to my family to send me some money to pay my digs and for my train fare home. Oh. That was show business then.
And yet, you carried on going.
Carried on because I just wanted to be in the business.
I think that, in a way, and this sounds, I don't know, this sounds kind of like perhaps predictable, but I think that the romance of that has gone now.
Jonathan, you would have loved the variety days. I can see you
I'd have loved
as a front closet, like the a.la Max Miller, those kind of people that I used to love even before I started comedy.
If only to meet the dancers, I'd have loved it.
Well, of course, there's that as well. That's always a perk.
Yeah.
Always the comedian's perk.
Oh, but it must have been... You must have
you would have loved it. You'd have been reeling amongst it, and you're one of the very few younger, if I may say so, younger performers in the business now that would have fitted in to variety.
I take that as a huge compliment, and I also respect the fact that, it bears up my theory you're one of the oldest living men, that you're now calling me one of the younger performers. Well, I'm 42, I'm not a young performer.
Yeah, but I was trying to be... Yeah, but to me, you're young. You see, you'll always be...
To me, Bruce, we are the same age now.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought once you turn 40, you can't cast aspersions or otherwise on anyone else. I think you're just grateful for what you can get.
Of course.
Do we have time for another burst for the news?
Yeah, I'm just queuing something up. If
what
you
are we
say,
going to play now?
I'll play a bit of Aretha Franklin.
Lovely.
Oh, very nice.
You can't beat Aretha.
No.
That's the Who, of course.
Yeah.
I believe. Oh, that's nice.
From Quadrophenia.
Quadrophenia, what a great concept album that was. We've got Bruce Forsyth with us, ladies and gentlemen. He's dashing off in a minute because he's rehearsing today. You're going to be off rehearsing.
Yes, with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to the rehearsal as much as I am the show.
But I get the feeling now that you are in a very happy place in your life. Would I be right in that?
Yes, because I can do more or less what I like. I can look for things that are special, and that's a nice feeling to have. And I don't have to, the wolf isn't at the door, so it's a nice feeling.
How nice to be going out on stage as well and performing, not just stuff you want, but with a young crowd behind you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking forward to, and I hope it has. If these go well, then I'd like to do a national tour with the National Youth.
That would be great for them as well, I imagine.
Yes, exactly.
Do you? Oh, you said you do the comedy on stage. Do you do any dancing anymore?
Oh, yes, I still do a bit of dancing. On the piano.
I'm looking for... you know what? I'm not just coming, I'm bringing my video camera.
And you're going to sell it?
What? It'll be on eBay the next morning. Do you collect anything? Do you have any... I know you play golf. We know you do that to unwind.
Yes.
Do you have a collection of anything? Do you collect albums or films, or what do you do else with your time?
I suppose I like to just browse around. I'm very lazy. People think that when I go on stage and when they see me on television, I'm such a live wire but actually I'm very relaxed when I'm not working.
Well, that's because it's all out there. You're doing it when
yes,
you're, in
exactly.
public.
So
you potter then, really?
I don't. Yes, I potter around. I'm a potter.
It's the best thing to do with your time.
Yes.
I love a potter. I never feel that's wasted time.
No, and as I say, when I go to Puerto Rico for 4 months, all I do is play golf, only 3 times a week. Yeah. The rest of the time, I'll read books. I love reading. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I love to read.
Especially courtroom dramas.
So when you go off, you should call it Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Oh
dear.
What? Oh, what's wrong with that?
We're not going to finish on that.
Actually, Bruce, you can have that. That's yours.
I think it's time to go.
That's yours to keep.
Was going
I won't charge you for that. That's yours to keep.
Bruce, don't invite him up next Sunday.
There we go. I tell you what, I'm firing with gas now. From all cylinders, we're cooking with gas.
Cooking with gas. I love that. Yeah.
Oh dear. I love a courtroom drama as well. Have you had a good one recently?
I remember a guy called Santini. I think it's Mike Santini. He's very good.
Sounds like a good name. No, I've never heard of it, but he sounds good.
But he does write some very good. He does write some very good.
Mike Santini.
It's either Mike Santini or something. But anyway, Santini will find him.
I'll have a look for it.
And he's excellent. There's quite a few. I love courtroom. Because see, a courtroom is like a theatre. Yeah. You know, I've been in enough.
Have you been in court ever?
No, only once.
When was that?
And I froze.
What was that for?
It was for a kind of a speeding. Because
I always think if I was in court, I think I'd be great in court. I can imagine wowing them and going, "You want? May I have the floor for a minute?" Of course, Mr. Ross. I'd like to think I give hope to the least of you. Sure, the camera records me doing 72 miles an hour, but think for 1 second.
I did get
yeah, that's what you want to do.
I did get one good line.
But you froze.
One of the lawyers said, "I suggest." I said, "You can be as suggestive as you like." Which shut him up.
I'd like to do that, a little bit of material, put a bit of stick in.
You keep that one. You keep that one.
I go, but I put it to you that
I don't want the potter. Right.
Henceforth, you want it should be known as Puerto Rico.
I
tell you, there's not a court in the land that would find me guilty after that. Bruce Forsyth, ladies and gentlemen, he's off to rehearse now, but he's with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra. You can catch him next Sunday at High Wycombe, where Andy and I hope to be, or the Anvil Theatre in Basingstoke on the 15th of June. But look out for it locally. I'm sure there'll be more dates and more appearances with.
Yeah, I'm just testing the water, and if it feels right to do, then I'll do some more.
I'm really looking forward to it. Bruce, it's always lovely to spend some time with you. Thank you so much for coming.
And you, Jonathan.
Appreciate it. Good luck with the remaining shows.
Thanks a lot.
Bruce Forsyth, the oldest living Englishman, has left the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I haven't.